Hi, I'm Tim Rue, and for the past 30 plus years, I've been a freelance and contract photographer, a hired gun, if you will. All kinds of people and companies keep hiring me, so I must be doing something right. I haven't kept score, but I'm sure a couple thousand jobs have come and gone. My bachelor's degree in photography came from this town's university, Cal State Long Beach, and from then on I never looked back. As a rookie, you either do assistant work for another working photographer or you plot your course out on your own. That's the route I took. Originally, I was schooled as a photojournalist, grabbing news job after news job both day and night. You learn a lot working on tight deadlines, visualizing quickly, working the assignment, and knowing when you've got it. Pay wasn't great, but it gave me a front row view to car wrecks, forest fires, and endless sports, to name just a few. Magazine work came next for me. Bigger projects, faraway travel, glossy tear sheets. It was time to start crafting images instead of just taking pictures. Stylized portraits, moody environments, more technical skills to help illustrate the story. But as time marched on, even those jobs began to dry up. So corporate work was the logical next step. Designers and art directors liked photographers who could create and expand upon the power of pictures to tell their story. Annual reports, corporate brochures, and ad work was the order of the day. Even bigger budgets and paychecks, but with much more pressure to deliver what the customer demanded. Around this time, a thing called digital photography made its triumphant entrance. You may have heard of it. It changed everything then, just like it still does today. If you thought everyone wanted to be a photographer, you hadn't seen anything yet. Suddenly, if you chose to stay in the photo game, you better adapt to the new technology, or you'll go the way of the dinosaur. It was a tough career spot to be in. But as luck would have it, another pro photographer and good friend John Robinson knew my work well and recommended me to the Port of Long Beach creative staff. Didn't happen overnight. In fact, it took over a year before that door slowly cracked open. So fast forward 13 years later, and you've been looking at what I've been up to, shooting ships and making pictures from land, sea, and air. Today we're going out on the photo chase boat on an actual assignment for the Port of Long Beach. Today we're going to be shooting the tide table cover. I've done this for about 10 years. We do a unique image every year featuring some aspect of the pilot boat or the pilot station or the actual pilots themselves. Today we're going to be chasing a ship into the back harbor of the Port of Long Beach, and we're going to be working with one pilot who's going to come out on the bridge wing for me, which is an extension of the place where they steered the big boats from. And from that angle, we're going to try to get the new Gerald Desmond Bridge in the background. So those are the key elements to the photo, and we'll see how it works out. The big challenge of this is all about timing and framing. To get those elements in a fairly tight, concise shot, everything has to line up. So I visually or pre-visualize what I need in the frame and where I need to have my boat and what lens, and then hope everything else kind of lines up. It's not exact. I'll definitely have to adjust on the fly as it happens. One additional unique challenge is it's a vertical photo, and most of the port is laid out in a very landscape or horizontal format. And that provides a unique challenge to frame something tight. Also, backgrounds in the port are often very cluttered. There's cranes, wires, just about everything that will muck up your photo in the back. But today, I'm looking for a really graphic, clean shot because this bridge is so beautiful with its big cable stays, and the bridge wing should just jut right toward it. Then adding that little human element at the end will make it perfect. Now, to prepare for this job, I've been looking at the ship's schedule for the last week, and I finally identified a big ship coming into the back that will cross off all the little things I need to make happen. And the first one, of course, is have it come in daylight. So we have the ship coming in late afternoon, which is great. And then all I need to do is check with the actual pilot station, find out which pilot is going to be doing the job, and then I'll have a conversation with him about what I need him to do, where he needs to be, and I can frame from there. All right, I thought you guys might be interested in the gear that we're going to use today, the photo gear especially. This is all I'm bringing on the boat today. I use a 14mm rectilinear lens on occasion, won't be used today. 16 to 35, very good lens. Should always have this in your bag, but I won't be using this today either. 24 to 105, very good lens for portraits, short to medium telephoto. This might get into the act today, we'll see. And as you can see, I have the bodies already hooked up with my longer lens, and these for sure are going to be the go-to. 7200 standard lens for short to medium telephoto, very sharp lens. This might be the one. It's on a Canon Mark III body. And my personal favorite, the Run and Gun 100 to 400, also with the Canon Mark III. It's going to be ready to go. This is probably going to be the system I use most of the day today. The last thing I'll talk about is I always bring a video camera along. It's a Mark IV on a Ronin S gyro stabilized stick. Kind of new technology, works beautiful for video on the water. So we'll see how it goes today, but I'm sure some of this gear will get into the act and hopefully get the picture we're after. So let's get started on today's assignment. Robert is my boat captain today. He's going to help me load some gear. He's going to prep the boat for me, and we're going to be ready to take our half-hour trip over to the port. We're going to set up on the north side of the new bridge and make a call to the pilot, and I can track them on my phone with an app that will tell me right where the ship is, and that way we'll be all prepared and get a good look at the ship coming down the channel, and then I can start positioning the chase boat here for the best possible angle. The big challenge is these ships are massive, and I'm only looking for a small area of the ship framed against an even larger bridge. So the right focal length lens is going to be crucial, and positioning the boat is crucial. And when we get there, I'll know right as it comes under the bridge if it's going to happen from one angle, or I've got to move very quickly over to the backside and try an even longer lens, and hopefully that will give me the frame I'm looking for. Once we get out on the ocean, I'll be contacting the pilots and checking my phone to make sure the ship is on time and right where I need it. And at the moment it looks good. The timing should be good for the boat to pass underneath the bridge right around 4:15, which should give us a good quality of light. The one other aspect you can never control is the weather, but that's something we're used to dealing with in the port all the time. In this particular shot, it's going to be a little bit backlit, so I'll make some adjustments in the exposure, and once we clean it all up in post-production, I'm hoping we get a really nice cover. Okay, as we now see the ship coming down the channel, it's really crucial to stay in contact with the pilot and let him know, even though I'm sure he sees me on his radar and I need him in the right position. And he's already out there, so it's going to look promising that this shot is really going to come off the way I envisioned it. Remember, this pilot is a real working pilot, and the number one priority is him to bring this large ship safely into port. But we are going to capture him in doing his work from the bridge wing, and I think the best position is going to be right where we're set up right now. All right, well, the ship's coming under the bridge right now, and already I've got trouble. This ship is an older ship, and it has a lot of things that are going to kind of make the frame unsightly. And if you remember, I was looking for something graphic and very clean. So we're going to have to move real fast, get to the back part of the harbor, use a longer lens, and try to isolate the pilot the bridge wing, and the bridge all in one shot. Well, the move paid off. We're looking at the camera back, and here's our shot. This is gonna work. It's clean. Once the right vertical crop is put in and a little post-production, we're gonna have it. But on every job I do for the port, you can't ever rely on that one shot for sure being the winner. There's a lot of people who weigh in on it, who want to say yes or no to a particular shot. So we're always looking for a safety or a backup shot, just in case somebody somewhere doesn't want that on the cover. So we're gonna keep following this ship all the way in to berth and see if I can get any more angles of the port pilot. All right, I've got the boat tucked away deep in the corner of the port now, and this big ship is gonna back right down toward me. I can still see the pilot. He's out on the wing and he's adjusting his speed and his angle to bring the boat, or actually push the boat with the tugs into berth. So I'm in a good spot right here. I'm gonna let that ship and let him come to me. We'll see if we can find a good frame here. That looked really good. That's a great backup. And all I'm gonna do is vary the focal length, shoot it tighter and shoot it looser, just to kind of break it up. The ship's moving, so I'm getting a little different background every time. So I think I'm gonna get 2 more additional shots out of this sequence to go with our winning bridge shot, hopefully, that is already in the can. Well, that's a wrap for this tide table cover shot. I think it's gonna look good. We'll see when we get it back in the computer if we've got just what we need. Now, oftentimes on the way back on assignments, things happen as well. So I don't ever put away the camera because you never know what might happen. And today, we've got an amazing sky starting to form in terms of sunset and clouds. So I'm gonna motor over to a spot where I often see dolphins and seals. It's just a nice possible environmental picture that the port always loves, and who doesn't like to see dolphins playing out in the water? Wow, those dolphins are amazing. That was 5 dolphins, a little dolphin family. They just came directly to us for their own little photo shoot. So we really lucked out there. We've got a lot of great images. We're going to show those later on too, because those are those bonus shots that you don't count on, but when you get them, you're really, really happy. We are back from today's job, and the images have already been downloaded, and I've put them into this folder here. We are working in Adobe Lightroom Classic, a great program to organize and to edit photos, and I use it all the time. And it's fantastic on how quick you can get to where you need to be on a shoot and not waste a lot of time. As you can see earlier in the take here, these images are not going to work. Way too busy, a lot going on, and I previously spun down and saw exactly what I was looking for, a much cleaner image for the cover, or the possible cover. Okay, here it is. Let's take a look at it. You have the port pilot here pointing and navigating. You got the bridge in the background. This picture for the cover has to be kind of an extreme vertical. That's the shape of it. I've put the dimension in, and there it is. So we're going to make the crop first. See how it fits in what we're looking for. We're going to straighten it up right there, crop it up, and I would apply one of my presets, which are over here, which are all just kind of different manipulations of color and tone and density in a photograph. I like the warm look of this. So I'm going to go back to the develop module, open this up a little bit, and all of a sudden that's a pretty dynamic picture, and it's got all of the elements that the parameters of the assignment we're asking for. The bridge, the pilot, and hopefully a little bit of dynamic lighting, which is what I've kind of built into this. All this was shot in Camera Raw, which always comes out kind of flat and gray and not too attractive. But once you get into the Lightroom, you can do some really great manipulations to make a picture really stand out. Now on many jobs, it's a good idea to look for additional options, because you never know what the client might not like about that first image. So I identified another one right here. Let's take a look at it. And yeah, this is a strong image as well. We're going to crop it here real quick. I need to, because it's such a vertical, I really need to see how it fits in the space. And this looks really nice right there. Now, yeah, that's going to be nice. I'm going to put a cooler preset over here, what I call cool clouds. And there's a nice look. It's very industrial looking, blue steel. Has a good feel for kind of the port subject matter. A lot of metal and a lot of sharp edges. It just it has a good look to it. We're going to see if we can find one more here. We'll go back into the grid and go down. I think I remember seeing one more that I made a mark on. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, a little tighter version without the water. Looks like the port pilot is probably looking at me or looking near me, wondering what's that little boat doing behind this big boat. It's a position I get in all the time. Let's crop this one as well. And very good. Yeah, that's going to make a nice alternative cover as well. Let's go with more cool clouds on this. Nice. Open it up, it's a little dark. There we go. Yeah, there are probably a few other little things I would go through on this photograph before I would actually submit it and clean up, but it's pretty close right there. It's a really good look. Let's take a look at all three finals here. That is one. That was another. Waiting for it to lock in. Very good. And then the original. So yeah, by shooting through the assignment, following the ship all the way to berth, we got 3 strong cover possibilities, and I think the client's going to be pretty happy. So we're going to turn these in, and the graphic designer at the port will put on the graphics, the typography, the logo. Well, we nailed the tide table cover. It looks great, but what about those dolphins? We're going to take a look at those right now. To show you one more thing that happened on the tide table cover job today, on our way out of the harbor, it was about sunset, and I decided to swing by a part of the harbor where sometimes I encounter dolphins cruising around. They like to feed right at twilight. So lo and behold, a little pod of dolphins was in the area. So we kind of circled around in the boat and ended up getting some pretty nice images. I've already made some corrections on them. I'll pull up kind of a few selects here that I've already marked. And well, that's not quite it. Let's see. There we go. Previously I told you about presets in Adobe Lightroom Classic, and when the light is changing as quickly as it does in the winter, the presets really aren't a lot of help, because every picture at that point is going to need a lot of additional refinement, and that's what's going on with these. Color balance is changing. Selective color, meaning like a certain orange or blue, is changing. So you've got to manipulate each frame to get the desired effect. There's no button to push to say boom like we did in the other ones and they're good to go. So you can see what happened as you just got to be ready. The dolphins were kind of popping up left and right. What I'm looking for when I encounter any kind of creatures in the port, whether it's dolphin or seals or birds, certain kinds of birds, I need to show a sense of place. We all know there's millions of great dolphin and nature pictures out there, but there are not millions of great pictures of dolphins in a giant seaport. So this is the kind of picture I'm looking for that establishes that we've got things going on right in our own port backyard. And I'm just going to motor through these a little bit. I do a few little crops. This dolphin is actually starting to get his nose out of the water, so you really get a good idea of what the animal is. I literally am just panning left and right from the boat. Two pop up on the other side. It's really a fast-paced environment. I'd say all of these were shot within 15 minutes. Sun's already down, the sky's starting to light up. Just blessed with a beautiful, big-time winter sky. And the dolphins were out cruising around, hanging with me for the better part of these 15 minutes. And I just kept firing away. And you just have to, the bottom line, you just have to be ready for when things like this happen, because they don't happen every time. You have to be, I have a lot of local knowledge of where they do pop up if it's going to happen, but again, just great that a night like this they cooperated. So here are the last two that I look also for a lot of empty space, which is great when you shoot from the water. That again, graphic artists at the port can put in type over the water, up in the sky. Makes for really clean, really nice, beautiful poster type images. I think this was the last frame I shot. Getting a little dark out there, but the wonder of digital will reel it in. But anyway, just wanted to show you what can happen on any job at any time, and that's kind of the fun of working from the boat and in the port. A lot of people ask me what kind of cameras do you use and what's your favorite lens. I'll tell you right now, you don't need to buy the most expensive camera or lens. It really doesn't matter. Whatever you have, use that. If you have a little extra money, you might want to upgrade, but not important. Work on your eye, work on composition, work on telling a story with your picture. That's what's important. All of this stuff helps me, but it does not define me. Another question I get asked a lot is, why does the port need so many photos? Well, there are innumerable amount of uses for pictures in the port, more now than ever. We have social media, and we still have conventional print media, advertising, brochures, websites. It's non-stop. Okay, well, thanks for joining me on assignment today. I hope you enjoyed watching what I do for a living, and I encourage you to keep your gear ready and be ready for those amazing pictures that are all around us.